Okay, ladies, welcome to day 3. Do you believe this is day 3 already? I don't even know where the time has gone. This is day 3 of our leadership masterclass. And I just see a big old space on Academy. I don't know how that happened. We'll fix that. All right. So today we're talking about our leadership mindset shift. Okay. And so I am super excited because I hope you found yesterday um, um, I don't want to say informative, but I want to say groundbreaking because
Mm.
I really want you to start thinking differently. And so, there's 2 days of mindset training. The first day, we're just talking about just getting out of your own way, right? Like just changing your thought. Today, we're talking about a leadership mindset, completely different. Okay. You have two mindsets. The first one yesterday was more like, what can I accomplish? How do I remove my limiting beliefs? How do I set myself up for, how do I potentially even see myself great, for greatness? Today we're talking about, okay, you understood that what you have to do. Now let's talk about what the leadership mindset's all about. Okay.
Mm.
So we are going to get started. And again, so my name is Dr. Andrea Diaz. I am president of American Management and Leadership by Design, and we are a management consulting company that specializes in training and developing women, helping them to give them the tools to control their future, overcome imposter syndrome, help manage their intellectual assets, and to dominate in their respective profession. I have to tell you, I was really just humbled and thrilled. I spoke um to female veterans last night on Clubhouse, and
Oh, that's right.
it was an amazing experience. I really thought I'll tell you the joke. I thought I was on a panel, meaning like there would be other people answering questions, but it was an hour of Dr. Diaz.
Oh, wow. So
So
you
that
were
was
the main event.
amazing. Yeah, so it was a lot of fun, and so these ladies are interested in the next master class. I let them know that this one is already halfway over. So I'm excited for them because you know when you see people and that that they can do great things, and you say, you let them in on the secret, like, shh, come here, you're awesome, and you don't need anyone's permission to be great. It's like all of a sudden they're like, you know what? I think I can do things. I'm like, come on, I'll show you what you can do. So I'm really excited for this. So today's agenda, we're going to do a slight review of day 2. We're going to talk about the leadership mindset today. What you need to know, and the struggle is real. This is when you start realizing the responsibilities that's set in that coincide with leadership, meaning that you realize there's a lot more than just a title behind your name. We're going to talk about the difference between transformation versus motivation. Okay, because they're really two separate things. We're going to talk about, we're going to see like what's your next move, and then we're going to have a Q&A. Okay, so ladies, honestly, I know, like, and I just want you to know, I literally have a soundtrack going on in my head at all times. Like, it doesn't matter what time of day it is, I always have a soundtrack going on in my head. And I'm not going to say, but I know it's George Clinton, and I hear this goes, he has this party song, and it's literally every time I come to see you guys, I have this party song like and I'm like, Ray, or I think it's like I forget what the name is, but I'm gonna say it wrong. And every time I hear it, it's like I'm ready to, I'm coming down the street, like that one from George. I'm gonna find it anyway. This is literally going on in my head every time before I get like with you guys. I'm like, the party's about to get started. We about to do some leadership training today. Like I get like that, like excited. Like I do a party in my head because this leadership training is a party, a leadership party. So I get really excited. Okay. And we're going to talk about a whole bunch of wonderful, wonderful things. Okay, ladies, let's get started because it's a jam-packed day. Your guest speaker is going to blow your socks off. Okay, I'm so excited. He's coming in at 4 o'clock, and I want to make sure that I have gone through my information with you because he is a time person. I want to respect his time. So let's get started. Day 2 review, we talked about the inception, right? The inception of limiting beliefs. Where does it start? It starts from your family, your friends, your culture, from childhood, really and truly, and the way that we're raised and we're taught and we're almost critiqued into submission from such an early age. You want to be liked. You don't want to shine too bright. You want people to like you. You don't want to be difficult. And if you express your opinion, be like, well, that's not. And then all of a sudden, and because we were taught that, we should listen to our parents, then we should listen to our teacher, then we should listen to our college professor, then we should listen to our boss, and we've never stopped seeking other people's approval, hence the whys, right? This is why, because we never stopped seeking someone's approval. And then we've never understood that we don't need to let someone else tell us how to live. Okay, we don't have to live by their rules. We have something called free will, and we can do whatever we want. Truthfully, if you want to stand up right now and do like a spin, you can do that because no one's going to stop you. Do you understand what I mean? Like, it's literally like, you're like, you know what? I'm going to take this cup of coffee right here, and because no one's going to stop you. It's literally, when I say it's that simple, just do it. But we told ourselves what we can't do because we don't want to go out the confines of society. We don't want to go against the grain. We want to be liked. We don't want to be difficult. All that goes away. Okay, get rid of all that. Beliefs in business. You have to believe that you're going to be in business, and you have to believe that you're worth it and you're valued. Okay, whatever your position is, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're heading up the Fortune 500 company, you have to believe that you're supposed to be there and that you've earned the right to be there. Like, no one's put you there. Get rid of that imposter syndrome. They're going to find me out and they're going to kick me out. They hired you there because they saw the value in you. They read your credentials. They don't know you personally. So and by the way, don't talk yourself out of success, right? That's what's holding you back. We think to ourselves, because we place limits on ourselves, right? We place limits on ourselves. People, it can impose limits, but we allow those limits to happen. I'm going to say that you can impose those. People will try to impose them, but do you allow them to happen or not? Also, what's holding you back? Is it fear? Because we get comfortable, right? We sometimes when we need to stretch and grow, we become uncomfortable because we're like, it's new, it's frightening. But when you feel those butterflies in your stomach, when you feel that little tumble, it's almost like when you're going up the road. You know how you know that slow climb of the roller coaster, and it's going like this, and you're just about to woo and like tip over and go, and that little feeling of butterflies, take that feeling and run with it. Don't let it hold you back. You're like, you know what you should say when you get that feeling? I want it again. I want that feeling again. Because you know what? You know what that feeling means? That feeling means you're going outside of your comfort zone. That feeling means that you're exploring something new. That feeling means that you're developing and you're growing. Always look for that feeling of nerves and excitement and like, oh, this is so new. I don't know what I'm doing. Don't run away from it. Say, I wish you would come on and be like, and ready? You're gonna get the spiritual side of me. Don't you know I'm a child of God? Because what God has for you, no one can take away. Do you understand that, right? What God has for you, no one can take away. And He is never silent. He is guiding you to where you need to be. You have to listen. Okay. These are things holding you back because whatever your spirituality or whatever, I'm not telling you, but I'm telling you there's a higher power out there. And that higher power is telling you what you is guiding you every day. Okay. But are you listening to it or are you going to listen to others? And that's what holds us back. It's the people that we love and we respect the most is what holds us back, not people that we don't care about. Because people that you have no vested interest in, you're unaffected by. But when it's your loved one, your significant other, your friend that you've known since you were 5 years old, those are the people that can do the most damage to you, especially in terms of limiting beliefs, because they knew you back then, because they don't know the new you now, right? So don't let those people hold you back. And then again, we have affirmations, and find affirmations that work for you, and again, your affirmations should change almost daily because you need something different every day. We don't need the same thing every day, right? So find those things and find that tribe and find that group of people who will help you to get you to where you need to be. Again, do not focus on things that do not add value in your life. If people are not contributing in a positive way, there's something called leave quietly. There's a button on the Clubhouse app called leave quietly when you want to leave a room. You can leave quietly. No one says that you have to talk to that person for the rest of your life. If that person is not benefiting you and is not trying to help get you to where you need to be, then that person's not supposed to be in your life. You can say hey and wave on, and guess what happens? You keep tracking, you keep doing what you need to do, and then you make progress. And then all of a sudden a year later happens, and they're like, what have they done? Nothing. What have you done? You understand what I mean? You've made something of yourself. And now they're saying, well, that could have been me. But they didn't have the vision or the wherewithal to do it. So don't let others dictate your life. Okay. So that was a review of day 2. Now we are getting into the leadership mindset shift. There's a reason we call it the leadership. It's like Sally told she self. Leadership mindset shift. There's something that happens. When you're a manager, you're worried about tasks. We talked about the difference between a manager and a leader, right? A manager is concerned about the process and doing things. The leader wants to do the right things. Okay, the leader wants to lead. The leader wants to have a vision. They want to move the needle. We're going to talk about moving the needle. So this is when you stop being a manager and you move to being a boss. Okay, I want you to understand the difference between being a manager and being a boss. Okay, this means you're not worried about the every day-to-day activities. I mean, you want to know about them, but you're concerned about the vision. You're concerned about the company as a whole, right? Because you're looking at all aspects of the company and all aspects of whatever that you serve, right? And you're looking at the aspect as a whole, because there's no point in furthering R&D if your finances aren't in place, right? So you can't do R&D if you don't have the money to do R&D. So you have to look at the whole picture. So you start looking at things from a strategic perspective. How do I increase our visibility to our constituents? How do I start to increase our database? How do I start serving people better? How do I have people want to come work with me? How do I have people, how do I make sure that my company's still here? Do you know how many companies closed down during the pandemic? How do the companies that survived are people who had leaders who were able to pivot? Understand that. Companies that survived the pandemic, I don't care if you had PPP, payroll protection program or not, right? People, it still comes down to leadership at the end of the day. Because if you don't know how to spend your money, it doesn't matter how much money you have. Do you understand what I mean? If you're not allocating it in the right places. So that's the first thing. So you start, as opposed to saying, well, we're selling 20 widgets today. It's, how do I take those 20 widgets and go global? Do you understand the difference? Okay. The next thing is taking charge. You start taking charge of things. You start seeing, as opposed to sitting back and waiting for someone else to do it, you start saying, you know what? I see these issues. Who's going to help me? Because as a leader, are you supposed to do it all yourself, or do you have a team to help you do it? And this comes into the room in line with delegation. If you are not comfortable delegating, you either A, don't have the right team, or B, that you're not a leader yet, an effective leader. Let's put it that way. One of two things. If you're not delegating, you either don't have the right team in place because you don't trust them or they don't have the right qualifications, or B, you need control, which means that you're not using your time effectively because you have a team that can help you. Okay, so you need to start taking charge of the things that matter and delegate things that need to go to the other side. Next, you start feeling a little confident. You got a little pep in your step. You walk into a room and you got your battle song. You walk into the room and you automatically know you're the baddest person in there. Okay, you already know. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. You start feeling so good. You're like, you guys are here to see me, right? I'm not in the room with you. You in the room with me. That's how you feel. And after you're a leader, you're like, you got 15 minutes, go. And then people are like, woo, let's come with some work now, right? Next thing you know, you start planning. You start doing strategic planning. You start doing financial planning. You start doing market planning, right? Market penetration planning. You start looking at the big picture. How do I get my company from point A to point B? What is that process? What does it look like? What's my 30, 60, 90-day plan? What's my 1, 3, 5-year plan? What's my 10-year plan? Is your plan to make sure that the issues that you put in place are still effective 10 years from now? Because that's a whole other discussion. Okay. Next thing, we have people and resources. What does that mean? So in other words, you need to figure out hey, Grace, we need to figure out who is it that we have? What is it that we need? Where are the gaps? Because now you have to do an analysis. All leaders should do an analysis of their organization. And if you don't know where the gaps are, you're missing out. You understand that? If you can't identify, if someone says to you, what are the 3 areas that you're having trouble with in your organization, and you can't identify them, you need to have an organizational analysis done. Okay, whether it's customers, and it's not always the same. It might be customer service. It might be allocation of resources. It might be continuity. So, for example, in the government, right? And you know how it is in the government. If I don't like the person I'm working for, he's gonna rotate out in 2 to 3 years. So it doesn't matter, which makes it very difficult for continuity of thought, continuity of mission, because everyone walks in with their own agenda at the end of the day, right? And then trying to say, well, you're gonna leave. How do I make sure that we don't stumble after you leave, and we're still effective, and we're still trying to meet our mission and support the warfighter and do that? How do you make sure that you're servicing your customers and you're saying I've met your needs, I understand your needs, and guess what? It's almost like the commercial from back in the day in New York. There was a company called Sims, and their tagline was, "Our best customer is an educated customer," or something along those lines. And that's what you need to understand. You need to run your business like that. Your best customer is an educated customer, and those people come back for repeat business. Because when people are happy with you, they're like, you know what, this person took the time. This person had quality control. You don't know what people are looking for. You have no idea. And then they're going to say, you know what, you need to work with this person because this person knows what they're doing. There's a leadership mindset, not about you hurt my feelings. It's about what is it that you need? How can I support you to make sure that you're doing your job effectively, right? Because at the end of the day, you need to make sure that your people are doing their job. But it's not about you having conversations every day. It's about, listen, I need you to take directive. I need you to go, and we'll meet back in a month. And if you need me, get on my calendar. But I need you to go. Okay, we don't do this hand holding, because if I have to hold your hand, then you're not the right person for the job, because that means that you're taking me away from da 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 da. Do you understand what I mean? So it's not your. And by the way, ladies who are leaders of your organization, it's not for you to have every solution for your company.
Right.
You don't have to have all the answers. But what you do is need to surround yourself with people who can give you that answer, who can help you with that, who can give you that information. Listen, there are lots of things that I don't know. And I have a go-to guy that helps me with a lot of like operational, like back end office things, that I can't do, or that I have people who can't do. And if it's out of his realm, guess what I tell him? You need to find someone who can do this for me. My response isn't, oh, well, let me see. So I go to him, you need to find someone who can do this for me, and I'll pay you. You understand me? Like I'm gonna pay you. I'm not looking for free, but this is not a good use of my time to find someone to teach me this system. I'm working with you. You're my go-to guy. You find someone for me, and and you give me pricing, and we take it from there. That's a leader. A manager is like, well, tell me pricing, and let's see if we can negotiate. That's not a good use of their time. You understand that? You have to use your people the way you're supposed to. And at the end of the day, it all starts with you. Beginning to end, it all starts with you. The moment you open your eyes to the moment you close your eyes. I'm not talking about in death. I'm just talking about the end of the day. The moment you open your eyes in the morning to the moment you close your eyes in the evening, you are a leader. Do you understand that it doesn't stop? Your responsibilities don't stop. What you need to do doesn't stop. This is not a calling for the faint of heart. This is a full-time job, because when you're a leader, you lead in the work. When you're a leader, you lead in the home. Do you understand that? You take those same skill sets and you apply it to home. Whether you have children or not, you have to lead your home. Ladies, you guys are already leaders. You understand that? You just haven't applied it to the workforce yet. And you haven't figured out how to apply that to the workforce yet. But I'm going to help you do that today. I'm going to help you do that today. What you need to know. This list is just the beginning. Because people think a lot of times that when you're a leader, it's about telling people and just guiding people. But what are you guiding them to do? What? Right? There's more to it than just being a leader or having that positional authority. As a leader, you need to do strategic planning. What does strategic planning mean? That means, where's my company going to be in the next umpteen years, next umpteen months? Who do I want to connect? Hold up. Not only financially, right? Who are the people? Who are the top 3? You should have a list of the top 3 people you're trying to network with on any given day. And guess what? You'd be surprised how people will either because you know what we do? We go, oh, this person will be too busy for me. That's what we do, right? This person's going to be too busy for me. And I don't think that she or he is going to be able to talk to me. So you just talked yourself out of an opportunity. You realize that. That's by having that mindset. This is what we talked. This is why we had yesterday of letting go of limiting beliefs. Because if you have that belief that, this person's too busy for me or whatever, you will never advance. You will never make that connection, because you've already removed yourself from the equation. Crazy. Don't ever do that, right? So as a leader, you need to do strategic planning on all fronts: financial, marketing, development over the next few years. What are you going to do? Technology. What technologies are out there? Listen, you might have a tech department, but you still have to know to say, hey, the next platform to go on is Green Room if you're on Clubhouse. You have to know, that outside of Facebook, I need to operate on this and this platform. You need to say, hey, LinkedIn is great for credibility, but if I'm trying to monetize, I need to go on other platforms. You're not going to monetize on LinkedIn. That's a fallacy. Only a few people monetize on LinkedIn. You understand what I mean? Most people, LinkedIn is to make sure that you're legitimate and you have a job and you're not like, some fly-by-night person. The next thing we discussed a little bit yesterday was succession planning. As a leader, if you get hit by the proverbial bus, Does anyone know to pick up the torch? Does anyone even know what's supposed to be happening this week or the next month? Does anyone have an idea of who they're supposed to be reaching out to? Does anyone know what projects are in the work and what needs to be where the loop needs to be closed? And by the way, where do we find this information? Is there a central place where we find this information, or is this all in your head? Because if it's all in your head and you got hit by the bus, we're in trouble. You understand what I mean? If there's not a central place for you to get this information, and then by the way, there's something we have to do as leaders. We have to trust people. We have to trust our team. That's crucial. Okay. Trust your team and empower your team. Okay. When we talk about empower your team, saying, listen, I'm giving you this project and this is what we do, not to scare you, because I want to see you grow, because I know you have this ability in you. And if you need help, you can come and talk to me. But I want you to go outside of your comfort zone. You know what they're going to say? Oh my gosh, Angela developed me, or Tracy developed me, and they saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. That's what leaders do. Okay. Because guess what? The role of a leader is to ultimately make your job easier, right? You're not supposed to take on more responsibilities and make your job more difficult. You're supposed to pass on those responsibilities and let other people do what they're supposed to do. Last night in Clubhouse, I had a woman ask me a question. How do I, she's an entrepreneur and she's starting out, and she says, how do I find people that are as passionate about my business as me? And how do I get to work with them? My response was, I have some harsh truths to tell you. No one's going to care about your business the way you care about your business. I just told her, I was like, no one's going to care. No one's going to care. I was like, and I said, is it more important? And now we're not talking about, there needs to be some common, integrity and things, there has to be some common ground. We're not talking about that. We're assuming that you resonate with this person. They have the morals and the values that are important to you. But if you're looking for someone to be excited about your business the way you're excited about your business, that will never happen. And I said, listen, that's never going to, I said, you're asking for something unrealistic. I was like, is it more important if I'm doing your finances, if I'm your finance director, is it more important that I have a CPA and I know what I'm talking about, or that I'm excited about your business? You tell me which qualification you want more. Okay. and the whole point was to adjust your expectations, because as an entrepreneur, or even as a leader of your group, you're like, well, this is my baby and you should care as much about it as me. And why don't you? I don't want you to care about it as much as me. I really don't want you to. And there's one thing I learned over the years, and I was reminded of recently. Build your business to sell it. Don't build your business like you're keeping it for yourself. Build it like you're going to sell it, and you'll have a better experience, and you'll manage your business much better. Because when we take things personally, we only can look at it from a personal lens, as opposed to, hey, this was an experience and I learned from it. And by the way, ladies, and I said this last night, I'm doing business with people right now that I won't be doing business with in the future. And I'm not mad about it. It's a lesson learned. You can't be perfect, okay? But guess what? I learned what I didn't like about that experience, and I'm gonna make sure it doesn't happen the next time. That's a leader. A manager's gonna be like, well, I didn't like it. You fold your arms and you're all sorts of hot. You're like, I'm salty. But guess what? All it means is, especially if you didn't have like lose your shirt, like lose all your money, assuming it wasn't a Ponzi scheme or something like that. And it was just in the grand scheme of things, you have to look at things and say, you know what? This was just a poor experience, but it was an experience that I appreciate because I learned from it. You can learn from failure, ladies. I want you to understand that you can learn a lot from failure. We are scared to fail as women because we think that if we fail as women, we're gonna go back to that same imposter syndrome stuff, like, oh, I made a mistake and they're gonna find it I'm a fraud. Yeah, no, that doesn't work. No, everyone makes a mistake, and men make lots of them. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Intellectual wealth management. What does that mean? Oh my gosh, ladies, you guys are more amazing and more brilliant and more gangster than you know, okay? Because what do we do as women? We minimize. I only did, it's no big deal, blah, blah, blah. And we talk ourselves out of stuff. And then we can be the most qualified individual in the room and we'll still act like we're not the best person in there. You understand that? We can have, it doesn't matter, and I'm not saying this about degrees and certification, doesn't matter. You can still be the most qualified person in the room and we'll still act like, well, should I even be here? Maybe I shouldn't be in this room, even though I'm the smartest person in here and I'm the best person. Maybe I shouldn't because I don't know. In the name of Reverend Linda, I curse you, I bind you, I rebuke you. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. All right. Next one, branding. Ladies, you are the brand all day, every day. Do you understand that? You are the brand of your department. You are the brand of your company. You are the brand of you. Everything you should do, everything you do should be branding 100% of the time. Okay. You walk into the office is branding. You walk out the office is branding. Your email is branding. Do you understand that? Your photo is branding. People know you by your brand before they really know you. You understand that? Before people really get to know you, they know you by your brand. I'm gonna pause there because I want you to understand that. They know your brand first. If they like your brand, then they get to know you, right? So if you're seen as this person that's upfront, straight, fair player, I don't do that whole office politics, I don't do that pitting people against each other, they're gonna say, you know what? I think I could talk to you. And the people who like that whole like, pitting people against each other, they're gonna be like, oh, I'm not gonna talk to you. Because they're gonna know that you're not for it. Okay. Again, people will treat you, you will teach people how to treat you, and you will teach people how to treat each other, especially as a leader. Because why? Because you lead by example. They're gonna everything you do, every tilt of your head, every pivot of your seat, people are looking at you. You on evaluation 100% of the time. And if you're not comfortable with that, then you need to step down right now. And I'm telling you the hard truth. If you're not comfortable with being in the spotlight and then being evaluated 24 hours a day, and be able to put your big girl pants on and receive that feedback, even though it may not be warranted, then you might need to reconsider a new position. I'm just being honest with you, because people are going to say some things and they're going to try your patience, and they're going to test your, they're going to be like, they're going to test your religion. They're going to be like, I had a friend who I used to work with. He would say, I'm about to set my religion on a shelf. Okay, like before he would go off on somebody. And I'm not saying to do that, but people will make you go or try to make you go crazy. And then you know what happens with that? The moment you fly off the handle, see, I told you, just understand that the rules of the game are not the same for you. That's a truth that you're going to have to understand, that the rules of the game are not the same for you. Men can get angry, men can understand these things, you know what I mean? But women cannot. And that means women have to be twice as good. But we're already twice as good. You just have to know that you're twice as good. Just so you know. You're already the bomb.com. You just have to understand that you're twice as good. So don't ever talk yourself. If you know what you know, don't ever let someone tell you that you don't know what you know. That's it, period. I don't have to justify myself to you. Listen, last night when I was giving my talk and I was talking about leadership to these vets, I said, listen, ladies, I'm going to say something to you, and I'm going to tell you something without hubris. I'm telling you facts. I am that good at leadership training. Okay. I am telling you facts. I am that good at leadership training. I am good at it. Now, if a button falls off a coat, I can't sew. I'm out. Okay. There's certain things I just can't do. But leadership training, I could do all day, every day. Okay. And that's how you need to walk into it. When you know what you know. Now, if you can't try and tell, and I'm pretty good at baking, but we could talk about that. But when you know what you know, no one can tell you anything because you don't have to prove it to anyone. Have you ever seen someone walk in a room and all they do is just sit there and they sit back and they look at you and they haven't said a word. All they did was look at you. And you're like, oh, Suki, what is happening here? I think this person is, that's how you command the room. When you walk in the room, you don't have to say, hey, I mean, of course you say, hello, how are you? But you don't have to say, how are, because we think that we need to be everyone's friend. I want to tell you that as right now, I don't want you to be everyone's friend. I refuse for you to be everyone's friend. You understand that? I don't want you to be everyone's friend. What you need to do is be everyone's leader, but you don't have to be their friend. Because people who will think that they're your friends, they become familiar with you and they think that they can say things to you because they're your friend and they can step out of line. Do you understand that? Don't let someone come to you and say, well, we're friends. We're not friends. I'm your boss. I'm your leader. You have friends outside of work. You understand what I mean? Don't have friends inside of work. You can have acquaintances, but if you're the leader of your department and you're the leader of your group, do not have friends. You have acquaintances, because those people will take that information because you think you got familiar and you got comfortable, and they will take that information and use it to stab you in the back. Hear what I'm telling you. Do not have friends, have acquaintances, and you have your friends outside of work. Okay, you could be friendly. No, I didn't say not to be friendly with people. I did not say not to be friendly with people, but you don't have friends as a leader. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because people cannot separate the two. Because when people think, well, you're a leader, and when you have to go straighten them up and pull them up by their bootstraps, or yoke them, they get mad at you, and they're not looking at you as a leader, they're looking at you as your friend. Okay, be very careful with that. Told you about branding, social media. In case you're wondering, you need to be on social media as a leader. Even as a leader of your, I don't care what your company is or what your organization is. You are the face, you are the brand, you drive social media. You don't have to, your picture doesn't have to be necessarily be on social media, but you need to understand that social media is needed to promote your company and to grow your company. If you don't use social media in some way, shape, or form, you're missing the boat. Okay, you are missing the boat if you're not actively in front of, because people have a 30-second attention span. Can we agree with that? People generally have a 30-second attention span, and if you're not giving them information that they find valuable, what do? We program to swipe. They will swipe, and then you will lose your footing and standing. Keep that in mind. Social media is equally as important as your branding, your intellectual wealth management, and everything. 20 years ago, social media was like, people were barely texting 20 years ago or whatever, a little over 20 years. You understand me? Now people are doing reels. Everyone's doing a reel. You have got to listen. You can pretend like it's not happening, but it's happening. And for those who put their head in the sand, they're going to miss out on a lot. Okay, we spoke yesterday on social and emotional intelligence. This is key. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret that you probably will not really believe me, but this is true. I generally don't like people. I generally don't like people. And the way I say this, I don't want to say I don't like people, is that I only have so much tolerance or bandwidth. You know what I mean? So it's for things that, as I said, that are not adding value in my life. At the same time, even if something that I'm not really caring for, you will never know it on my face, because I have enough social and emotional intelligence to recognize that this is just my little thing or my little thing that I'm going through. You know what I mean? That I have in my head, and it really doesn't apply to the situation. And sometimes you have to play the game, right? You have to play the game, and we all have to play the game, because we've all had to be nice to someone that we didn't particularly care to be nice to them, but it was the right thing to do because it made our lives easier in the long run, right? Lastly, as a leader, you formulate the culture of your organization, and you do the coaching. Now, you don't have to sit down and formally coach every employee, but understand that your actions and deeds are shaping the culture and the coaching of your organization. Every action and deed that you do shapes the culture and ultimately the coaching that occurs within your organization. Okay? Understand that. So all these things that you're talking about here, what do I need to know? Because again, leadership is not about telling people what to do. Leadership is not about telling people what to do. And leadership is not positional authority, right? So as a leader, what do I need to know? And I hope this opens your eyes. Strategic planning, succession planning, intellectual wealth management. People are like, intellectual wealth management. I'm giving a presentation in a couple of weeks to the federally employed women. Yeah. About intellectual wealth management. Because they were like, what? I was like, there's a whole topic on intellectual wealth management, and there's something that goes. It's something that people really don't. If you type in intellectual wealth management, a lot of people don't even understand what that is. Do you understand? A lot of people don't even understand that concept, and it's nothing new. But people are more concerned about scaling and growth and things like and social media followers. But no one understands intellectual wealth management. How do you use your intellectual capital towards your advantage? How do I use my intellectual capital to further my agenda, to further my company's agenda? You're one smart cookie. I'm just going to let you know you are one smart cookie, and you are smarter and more brilliant than you know. But because we don't manage our intellectual, and what we do as women, we give away everything for free because we think that we don't deserve to charge for it. We're like, well, but you paid for it, so why isn't someone else paying for it? Right? But we get concerned about that price point, or we get concerned about, well, I don't want to, and I don't want you to. What happens if someone says no? Are you gonna have spontaneous combustion? Are you gonna explode if someone says no? Yeah, no, it's not gonna happen. Like maybe, no, it's not gonna happen. No, we're not gonna blow up. We're not gonna explode. Nothing's gonna happen. Our hair's not gonna turn. We're not gonna go like straight white. If someone says no. Think of no as, and I love that I learned this from Clubhouse, next opportunity, right? It's how you pivot from everything. No doesn't mean no permanently, but no just means maybe not right now, or maybe we're not a right fit, okay? And so these are all things that you have to address as a leader, Consequently, these are just literally not every single module, but some of the modules that we address in my wealth program. How do you become a strategic leader? How do you do strategic planning? How do you do succession planning? And what does that mean for leadership? How do I manage my intellectual wealth? All of these, I didn't just pick these. This is actually we address this every week in my wealth program, because these are the things that, you're like social media, branding. I just want to tell people what to do. No. Come over here, my friend. Let me explain some things to you, right? All of these things right here, we go through every week. There's a training every week on all these topics and more, okay? Readings, trainings, because guess what? Because you're going to walk in the office and you're going to walk in and say, hey, what's our strategic plan over the next? And they're going to be like, what do you mean strategic plan? What are we doing next year, next 2 years, 3 years? And if you're in the government, hey, we have to project our funding ahead of time. And if we don't use all our funding, we lose our money. So what's our plan? And we can't buy office furniture. And there's a certain date that we have to use so-and-so. And then we have to get, you understand? All of a sudden you're like, oh yeah. Okay, this is the real deal stuff. So these are things you need to really have a handle on as a leader, because the expectation is that once someone says that, hey, you're the leader, you're the subject matter expert, you're this, they expect you to have a handle on these things. Okay, they expect you to have a handle on these things, but no one has said, when you take this position, you're going to have to do strategic planning, succession planning, intellect. No one tells you these things, but they're going to expect you to know it. And you know what's going to happen? After you sign up for my wealth program and you start learning about this stuff and you walk in the office, you're like, and they're going to say, you know what? You're talking differently. You know what? You're like, oh, no. I spoke this way all the time. I was just trying to figure out the lay of the land. You just catching up now. Come on. You just catching up now. I've always been this way, but but you can't walk in to a new job day one and start going blah, 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 because you don't know anything, right? You have to learn. And they're going to say, and no one's going to say, I didn't do anything for the first 30 days of my job because I'm trying to learn everything, but you walk in, I want to meet with you. What are you doing? What projects are you working on? And listen, and by the way, ladies, I want you to run your life and your business with project management, like you're doing project management on Microsoft, okay? When you run your life and your business and your leadership like project management, you'll understand milestones, gaps, slippage, and your brain will start to work like that scale, almost like an abacus, sliding things back and forth, where things, your brain is going to start walking like this, like working like this. And you're going to be like, hold up, point A got affected, well, this is going to affect point C. And then this is going to move things this way. And then you're going to start seeing things in as opposed to just like, hey, this is my department, what do I think? You're going to start seeing the whole picture. And you're going to understand the impact of one, how it's going to impact the other. And then you're going to be able to tell people, hey, if this happens, this is going to happen. Now, and I just want to give you a little disclaimer. The first time you do this, no one's really going to believe you, because you're going to see something because you're looking at the whole picture, right? No one's really going to believe you. And you say, okay, but this is what we're going to do. And then when you're right, you go, I know. And very calmly, and you keep it going. So you're not proving it. Well, this is what, and then if someone's telling you, oh, well, they want to debate you, we're going to take this offline, but this is what I'm telling that we're going to do. And then you and I are going to meet separately. So we could come to an understanding. Just like that in front of everybody. We're going to meet offline so we can come to an understanding, but this is what I've said. Guess what? They're going to be like, ooh. Because you can't seem rattled, ladies. You can't be seen rattled or frustrated. I'm not asking your opinion. I'm telling you what's going to happen. And for some reason, if I've given you the impression that you can provide that, like your opinion is going to have weight here, we're going to fix that. Notice I didn't say sorry. I said, we're going to fix that. Think of the words that you're using. Do not say sorry. Think of when you hear leaders, they don't say sorry. They're like, that was an unfortunate. Listen, I don't care what your political stance is. Listen to any politician. They won't say, I'm sorry or I messed up. They'll be like, that was an unfortunate event. That's emotional intelligence. That's social. You understand what I mean? Because if you say I was wrong, they're like, see. But if you're like, you know what? That was an unfortunate event, and these are the circumstances that happened, and this is how we're going to move forward. So what did I do? I acknowledged it, I recognized it, and I said, this is what we're going to do. I didn't say that, oh, I'm sorry, I thought this was going to work out. I want to take you in the room and beat you if you do that. I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to take you in a room because I never want you to do that because you are giving away your positional authority at that point. You're telling people that I have concerns. I doubt myself. I doubt my ability. Do you understand that? By saying that, you say, when something goes wrong, be like, and when people bring problems to you, what you say is, explain it to me, and you listen to them, and then you say, okay, what's the solution? I didn't say no. I didn't say that you as the leader had to figure it out. Put it back on the person. Let the person do his or her job. And if he or she cannot do the job, I mean, some things you have to step into. You know what I mean? But not everything that you have to fix. No one said that you ready. This is in my book. Go get my book. No one said that you were Jesus. So why are you fixing everything? See, women, we think we need to fix everything. We hear a problem and automatically we want to fix. But that's not the thing that you don't fix everything as a leader. You empower people to do their job. You hold people accountable to their job. And if someone's not doing their job, what happened? If you weren't doing your listen, if you were not doing your job, what would be the conversation with you? You're not doing your job. This is unfortunate. It seems like you've had issues with this. Why aren't you having that conversation with somebody else? Because actually, and this is a military saying. I'm not going to say the word, but ish rolls downhill. Okay, ish rolls downhill. That's what I've always heard when I worked for the Army. Ish rolls downhill. So if something coming down the line, it's going to come down to you. So is it going to stop with you, or are you going to say, oh well, it's your fault, right? Lead by example. I hope this is probably one of my favorite slides. I just want to tell you. Okay, next. Uh-oh, the struggle is real. Okay. And when I say the struggle is real, people are like, people have this idealism with leadership. Like, this is almost like being a movie star. You see like the 5-10 seconds of them walking across the red carpet, but you don't see the 20 and 30 hours that they're doing, trying to learn lines and working on movies. Like you don't see all the other work behind it, but you see, they say you see the glory, but you don't know the story, right? So make sure, that's why I said the struggle is real. So you have to be concerned about training for yourself and others, okay? That is your responsibility. Like you might have an HR person, but as the leader, you're the person that moves the needle in the group, right? So if you have to make sure you're like, you know what, this is happening. I don't know. I need to go get some training. Develop yourself and make sure that you develop others, okay? This is why we're talking about the leadership mindset, because it's not about you. It's about what I can do and serve with others, mentoring for yourself and for others. Let me tell you something. You can be the leader of your organization and or you could be the leader of just your little department. Everyone needs a mentor and an advocate. Okay. I don't care that this is not something that's mutually exclusive dependent upon your industry. Every woman needs a mentor and an advocate. Okay. And you have to mentor others because this all goes back to the culture and the coaching where you saw the last bullet. You teach people how to treat each other and how to treat you. So this is when I said everything you do, they're going to be looking at you. So if you see yourself, hey, Grace blew up at Micah and blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? And they're going to be like, well, wow, that wasn't great. Or they could say, wow, Grace took Micah aside, had a conversation with him, respected him, gave him information and put him on the right path, and now he won't do it again. And now he's even more dedicated to Grace. There are two ways to handle it. There are many ways to handle a situation, right? But you are always on review. And I have to tell you, leaders, I'm not saying that you can't make a mistake, but you have to be very careful with the mistakes you make because your level is so much more visible and it's so much higher. It could have that much more impact on others. Okay. So just understand that your visibility, everyone's looking at you. All eyes are on you. All right. You also have to understand, what does empowerment mean to you? Because we talk about like, oh, well, I only want to give you this, or I want you, you have two rules of thought. People who are micromanagers and very controlling, and you could go there are two extremes. And the other one who's like laissez-faire, go off and do great and wonderful things. I'll see you later, and I don't really care what's happening. Neither one of them are great. You need to have a balanced approach. Now, understand that more people need a little bit more hand-holding and some people need less hand-holding. But you have to find the right balance for you. How are you going to empower people? And how do you empower people to empower other people in your organization? Do you understand that? It's a trickle-down effect. It's not just how do I empower you? Because if I empower you, I'm hoping that you're empowering the person underneath you, and that person's empowering that person underneath her, and so on and so forth. And if it's not happening that way, then I need to see where the disconnect is, because then you may not be either you need training or you're not the right person for the organization. Because again, this person, because leaders, they say, well, leaders are responsible for X, Y, and Z. But sometimes leaders are so wrapped up in what they're doing, they miss what's happening in their organization. And they've trusted people because they say, well, I told you what to do, so you should be able to go do it. But it doesn't mean that they have the skill set to do it. So make sure you're putting the right people in place. And again, how are you moving the needle? We're going to talk about motivation and transformation in a minute. And the reason why I say this, like last time when I was talking, they're like, I said, there's nothing wrong with being a motivational speaker, but how are you moving the needle? Everyone's like, oh, motivate and motivate. You can feel good about anything, right? But how are you actually getting results? And how are you ensuring that others move the needle? These are all questions that you need to ask yourself. And we're going to get more into this in the next slide. So motivation versus transformation. People think that leaders are supposed to motivate. I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think leaders are supposed to motivate. I think leaders are supposed to get things done. And of course, we hope that they do it in the best possible way, but we want people to get things done. So you can motivate and be like, rah, rah, rah. Like, how they used to have before the pandemic, you used to have those offsite meetings, and you get your think tank together, and we feel good, and we go offsite and we talk about what we think we want to do in the future and all sorts of stuff. And they feel motivated, right? And then they come back, and then what happens? Nothing. That's it. Nothing. So they went away. They took a couple of days off. They left you with the extra work, or whatever the case, or you have extra work to come back because you went away to this retreat, and nothing's really right, because what happened? They were motivated, but they weren't given the tools to move the needle. Do you understand what I mean? So I could feel good about anything. I could put my own soundtrack on. I could feel good about anything. But if I don't have anything to show for it, then what's the point? So, do you want to motivate or do you want to transform? Right? Do you want to transform or do you want to I always say, I want to transform people. Because I can make you feel good. But if it doesn't, but making you feel good is only a temporary emotion, right? What you want are tangible actions, tangible results, tangible things you could say, yes, this happened, and this happened. After this meeting, we implemented this, and this. It's not about, everyone's like, let's motivate our people and inspire our people. And let's get everyone to be like kumbaya and we like each other and rah, 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 rah. Okay. And you go home for the weekend and you come back Monday morning. And then you just open that email and just go right back to work. That's why so many people stop doing retreats, because they weren't doing them properly. They weren't doing them right. There's nothing wrong with a true retreat. And I'm all for get out the house, you know what I mean? Or get out of the office, get people away. Let's have a different perspective. But if you don't have any tangible actions after it, no matter how many workbooks you have and how many conference rooms you go to and whatever, whatever swag bag that you give your employees, nothing will ever change. And all you do is have a really nice write-off at the end of the year, okay? And how are you ensuring others move the needle? How are you keeping other people accountable? Let me ask you that as a leader, because guess what? You know what we don't like often as women? Confrontation. But holding people accountable is not a confrontation. It's a conversation. I'm going to say it again. Holding people accountable is not a confrontation. It is a conversation. Do you understand that? It is a conversation, because we are all responsible for something. We all have someone we're responsible to, whether it's your own business, whether you work for somebody else. There's a board of directors. There's something going on that you have to report to somebody, your children or whatever it is. You have to report to somebody. You're accountable to somebody at the end of the day, right? How are you making people accountable? Again, it's okay. I want you to feel comfortable having these hard conversations and tell people. I want you to go tell your group of people. I want you to tell your employees or whatever. A conversation is a conversation, okay? It's not confrontation. So if I have to talk to you, it's a conversation. And say, when it's confrontation, you'll be well aware when it's confrontation. Just for know right now, it's a conversation. We'll see if it moves to confrontation later. All right. Next, what's your next move? Ladies, what is your next move? What is your personal and professional leadership plan? If you don't have one, you should absolutely have one all day, every day. Have a personal and professional leadership plan, okay? Because people think, well, why do I need a personal one? You unless you literally can go whoop, you don't switch off who you are. You don't turn off who you are. You are who you are. Whether you're at work or at home, you're still a human being. and things bleed over to each other. So you need to have a plan. How do I develop as an individual? How do I feed myself as an individual? And how do I feed my organization? How do I feed into others? How do I supply others? And how do I make others want to leave me to come back and bring their experiences? You need to have a plan. Where are you now? Let's talk about where you are now. What is your current state of the union? Where do you belong? Where are you? Do you like where you are? And if not, what are you going to do about it? Because my next question after that is, where do you want to be? Where do you want to be? And here's the thing, you have options. You can do whatever you want, but you don't have to do it by yourself. Do you understand that? You need to surround yourself with people who are willing to help you move that needle and get you from point A to point B. And some people are happy. See, now understand, we talked about control and leadership. There's a difference. If you meet someone and they automatically like, I want to be in charge, they want control. They don't want leadership. Understand the difference and recognize the traits of people who just want control over people who believe in true leadership. And I want to say, where do you want to see your company 5 years from now? And where do you want to see yourself 5 years from now? Okay. I want to ask those questions. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to, what is it? We talk about what is it that's holding you back, but not only holding you back from your own dreams and accomplishments, what's holding your organization back? Is it the lack of people? Is it the lack of finances? Is it the lack of, because trust me, I'm telling you, there's a solution for just about I haven't met a problem where you couldn't find a solution for. Do you understand that? There isn't a problem out there that you cannot find a solution for. What it really is it depends on your tolerance level and what you're willing to put up with. Okay. Just like Tracy yesterday, was talking about her client who did umpteen revisions and who wasn't sticking to the schedule. I said, Tracy, is it more important that the client does the revisions or that you are able to serve other clients? And she was like, and I was like, you're more important. You're more important. Okay. There's always a solution to the problem. There's always a solution. There is nothing that you can't do. There's nothing that you can't fix. There's nothing that cannot be resolved. Okay. The only time it's not going to be resolved is when you stop trying. I'm going to say it again. The only time a problem cannot be resolved is when you stop trying, because I guarantee you walk away, and no one says you have to solve it right then and there, but you walk away. Sometimes you go for a drive, you go for a cup of coffee, you go for whatever it is, and then all of a sudden something pops into your head. Now the problem isn't so big anymore. Now you have a solution. Now what can you do? You can pivot, right? Now you can make things happen. So that's where we are. Ladies, I am so proud of your, I mean, this is day 3. This is some heavy duty stuff. Yes, day 1 was leadership 101, understanding the various leadership styles and things that are happening. Day 2 is letting go of limiting beliefs. Because you know what? Because you might say, well, I have the position, but I don't know if I have the real passion or I hadn't quite turned into Neo yet from the Matrix, knowing that I believe that I could be a leader. Today, I hope you guys believe, I hope you guys, honestly, I wish I could have taken a picture of my daughter. I was putting on my makeup this morning, and she came into the bathroom and she had a little step stool, to stand up next to the sink. And she stood there and she put her one leg up like Jean-Claude Van Damme from back in the day. You know how Jean-Claude Van Damme would stick his leg straight up in the air, then he would like pivot his body like that kind of thing. I fell out laughing. I was like, yeah. I was like, how do you do that? That's so awesome. I don't know why that popped into my head, but that's how I feel. I feel you guys want to be strong. Just throw your leg up in the air, like, and just look at you like, what you know about that? That's why I want you ladies to be like, I am so bad. I'm so,
This leg can't go up no more.
Oh, I got.
Okay, I'm gonna be.
No, I love it. My leg can't go up either. I was actually leaning towards the sink and trying to put my leg up straight, But yeah, I was so shocked. And and the thing is, like, she was like standing straight. So she put her leg up like this at the first. It wasn't like she went in the back. I was like, how do you? She was like looking at me. I was like, how did you do that? Yeah. So anyway, but ladies, where do you want to see yourself 5 years? 5 years from now, I want to see my daughter telling me, "Mommy, move over. I've got your company," and she'll be 7, and I'll be like, "That's awesome." You know what I mean? That's fine. Just I'll be over here. Let me know if you need something. That's what I'm looking for. So ladies, I want you to believe that you can be anything you want. You can do anything you want. And I hope that you understand that about this leadership mindset. So this is where I open it up to Q&A before our guest speaker jumps in. Unmute. Tell me what you got.
I like what you said about the personal brand. It's funny because I was working on putting a picture up on my on the team so everybody can see you all around and
Yeah.
during the Pentagon. And so I had two pictures, and one I was like really happy and smiling, and I was at my desk at my old job, my cubicle. And then before I left, I had a friend of mine who's a photographer took the picture with the flag, and I had my suit jacket, and I looked professional. And then I was like, which picture do I put up here? Do I put the fun, bubbly one, or do I put professional? And then I just thought about what you said with the branding. Moving up in the leadership role. Okay, let's do the picture with the flag and look a little more professional. And I just posted up as we were going through the training. So I feel good about just doing that one small step, like you were saying, just owning it, and I guess walking in your power. I wanted my fun one, like, hey, but
Yeah, but fun not gonna cut it.
this shows, hey, she's a little more serious. It's looking like a leader with the flag in the back, and it's patriotic military thing working for the Pentagon. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. So thanks
I
for
love it.
with the personal branding, because that's the first step of like what people see visually.
That's it. And I want to say, be very cognizant of colors. Oliver mentioned this on the first day. He was like, she's wearing red. That means power. He was absolutely right. Yesterday, we talked about limiting mindset and worth and value. So I wore green. Today's purple. Purple's royalty. Come on, baby. Let's go.
Try to.
Purple is royalty. You know that. So I was like, we're going to be royal today. And let your colors embody like what you want to project. So if you feeling like, I got this, put on a color that inspires you.
Let me see. I'm gonna turn my other laptop around, but this is my professional picture.
I love it.
So
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
So that's me with the flag. So I'm still multitasking, as you can see.
I love it. Listen, that's what, if you're not, I'd be surprised. That's all I'm gonna say. If you're not, I'd be like, something's wrong, because I don't know any woman that could do one thing and not branch off to something else. Like it's almost like a third way I can start this one. And I'll come back over here. No, I'll go. But yeah, no, women multitasking is okay. So yeah, ladies, ask me questions. Ask me questions before our guest speaker comes on in.
I posted a question in the I'm sorry, Tracy, did I cut you off?
Oh no, you're fine.
Okay. How is branding different from reputation?
Okay. So very good. So branding is, that's a great question. Okay. So branding is like, okay, I'll do a very, very high level, one part of branding is colors. Another part of branding is your mission and vision and things like that. So if women, someone says, well, what do you do? I give my whole spiel, American management, blah, blah, blah. We train women how to be, overcome their, that's branding, right? Reputation is what I've done with it. So I'm a person of my word. I can walk the talk. So I can tell you I can do it. But when you hear my mouth, that's reputation. I could stand on my own. I don't have to, your branding tells people about you, but your reputation speaks for you. Okay, your branding tells people the general or the hierarchy of who you are, but your reputation speaks for you and opens the doors. Your reputation will come back and get you business, not your branding. You understand that your reputation is what gets you where you need to be. Any other questions? And we have Mr. Melvin Brown. Thank you. No problem. Thank you so much, Grace Ann, for asking that question. Angela or Tracy, do you have any questions for me before the fantabulous Melvin Brown comes in? This man is so gangster. Like, honestly, I defer to his awesomeness, okay? I defer, this man is so busy, I would actually ask his wife for permission to use him for projects. I'd be like, please, can I use your husband? And she'll be like, I'll let you know. Oh yeah, he is that gangster, okay? I had to get permission from his wife. And you know what I'm saying is true.
No,
Mr.
you
Melvin
answered my
Brown.
question. You
Okay,
answered
great.
my question, Dr. Grace actually asked my question, so thank you.
Perfect. Thanks. I love that so much. That's fantastic. Listen, I have to tell you, I don't even have a formal bio. I do have, but I haven't pulled it up today because this man, this is what I want to do before Melvin comes on. Melvin, I love you. Thank you for hanging out with us today, Melvin. Tell your family I say hi. Okay, so Melvin Brown, this second, honestly, Go ahead, take it away. Mr. Melvin Brown, today we were talking about the leadership mindset, right? And so this man, let me tell you something. I used to go into his class and I would just sit there and I would like lose myself in just hearing him talk. And when students left his room, they would actually come up to me and say, "Can I have him again?" And I was like, "Well, you're only limited. Look, you can only have him twice. But can I have him again?" I was like, "But have you had him already?" Like, so because you're only allowed to teach so many students so many times, blah blah blah. So anyway, Melvin Brown, Mr. Melvin Brown, drop your golden nuggets for us. Welcome, ladies. Let's give him a round of applause. Woo, 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 woo. Look. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Andrea.
I love you.
It is a pleasure to be here with you all today, and I'm honored to be selected and to be a part of this great collaborative space, and to Dr. Diaz on your new book, way to go. So proud of you and all of the things you're doing. But I think the biggest principle here, so we're talking about a leadership mindset, and one of the things that I'm often reminded of is the first person that you have to be able to lead is yourself. Before you can lead anybody, you have to be able to lead you. And so what does that mean? It means that if you won't follow you anywhere, why would anybody else? And so, as you start to think about, your life and your journey, I guess the question becomes, I put this back on you, where have you led yourself? Today is a collection of all of your yesterdays, and there really is no tomorrow. All you have is today. And every choice you make today will change and shape your tomorrows. And so if you're not happy with where you are today, I guess the question is, what are you going to do to change your choices? Every choice leads you somewhere. Every yes to something is a no to something else. Every no to something is something that you decided you want to do. And so that's the one thing I'll start with. The other thing that I'll start with is the one commodity that we all have in common is, the creator of the universe gave us all 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week. And whether you're Bill Gates, Oprah Winfrey, and all the greats, that time allotted to you, it's been equally distributed. The only difference between you and them is how they spend their time and how you spend your time. And so it is the prioritization of the one commodity that you can't get back, and that's your time. And so I'd ask you, are you spending the time that you need to spend on your top priorities? In my book, The Drive of Your Life, Move Out of the Passenger Seat and Behind the Wheel to Your Divine Destination, I talk about the difference between having hitchhikers, tour guides and hitchhikers. Tour guides, travel agents, and hitchhikers are the three people that are in your life. Now, tour guides I'll start with the tour guide. Tour guides are mentors. These are people that have been where you're going, and they can help you to navigate the waters. And so you want to identify, who are the tour guides in your life. The next one is travel agents. And now travel agents are people who may not have been where you're going, but they've got a network of people that they can point you in the direction of where you want to go. And then there's hitchhikers. Hitchhikers are people that just along for the ride. They get in your car just to go wherever you're going. They're not helping you get anywhere. They're your fan club, but they're not helping you get anywhere. And so I tell you to start with, what do you want to do? What are your top 3 priorities in your life? And then look at your tour guides, travel agents, and hitchhikers. And then who do you need to spend more time with? And who do you need to spend less time with to meet your priorities and goals? It doesn't mean that and so I'll say to you guys that's married, your husband or wife might be a hitchhiker. So let me start there. Don't get a divorce. That's not what I'm suggesting. What I am saying though, is if you've got friends that aren't tour guides or travel agents, it doesn't mean that you don't spend no time with them. It just means you spend less time with them because you want to start to accomplish your goals. And then, my other point that I want to make is, you got to do and focus on doing brain work, and you got to get in a rhythm where you get your brain together. And so it's not and I don't think it's a male or female thing. I really do think it's just a people thing, to where we got to control our self-talk. And so you got to set yourself up. You got to set your day up to be successful. And so the first thing I do in the morning, before I read email, before I do anything, is I have a routine. I work out, and then I do brain work. And so I do body work and brain work are the two things I do. And so body work, just, I got about an hour work, or, either I'm on my bike, or I'm lifting, or I'm doing something, or I'm going for a walk, and I got a podcast going in my head. But after that, I got like 3 things that I'm gonna do. I'm a huge fan of Darren Daly. If you haven't followed Darren Hardy, you can go to darrenhardy.com. I'm not selling for him, but he's got a ridiculously get better everyday program where he sends you a daily podcast. I'm a huge fan of his, and so that's a part of my workout. I've got 3 devotionals that I read just to get my brain right in a positive way. So I'm a TD Jakes, Joel Osteen kind of guy. So those are the 2 people that I have buzzing in my head in the morning. And so when I hit the day, and then the last thing I do, I am a huge fan of Ryan Holiday and the Daily Stoic. And this really is about some of the Stoic principles. Not that I am a Stoic myself, but some of the principles that are there are really beneficial. And so some of his daily reflections are actually pretty good. And so that's a part of my brain work. And then I journal. And so my journaling is just really about getting out what's in my head and reflecting on my journey. Where am I doing good? Where do I need to correct some things? Or did I say that out loud? Oh, maybe that was my inside voice. I said that out loud. Now I know why I got the response I got. And then the thing that I try to leave with is, what are my top 3 priorities for the day? What do I want to get done today? And these are my priorities. And so when I hit the day, when I open email or before I get started, I've already set my day in a positive motion. And as a leader, that's important. You have to have your mindset ready for the day, because if you don't have your priorities set, somebody's going to give you theirs. And guess whose priorities are going to take priority? And so that's where you need to think about what you want to do to set your day up for success long before the day gets started. So I'm going to stop for a second. And if Andrew will allow me, I just want to facilitate a dialogue. I want this to be a 2-way dialogue where you can ask me questions and let me know what your thought is. Now I got 1, 2, 3 people that look like me, and y'all don't look like y'all shy about nothing. So don't be shy now.
I'm telling you, ladies, this is a huge opportunity. You can pick his brain about anything. This guy, not only he's prior military, he's a really, really high level person in the government. I'm just gonna put it that way. A very high level person in the government, and he's probably had to tell you a lot of, he can't tell you a lot of things he's done. So you're not going to come across his path again unless you meet him somewhere else. God has blessed me with his this interaction and his family. So please take this opportunity, because in about 20 minutes he's going to go live his life. So please go ahead.
Mr. Brown, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate what you've shared so far. My question to you is, when did you realize that you needed a morning routine in order to help you to become more successful in your leadership and where you're going?
So it was one of the Darren Dailies that I was listening to one day, and they were talking about the 1%ers and what the 1%ers do every day to be successful. And one of them was, they have a routine. They have a daily routine, and so it gave me some food for thought about what should I do. And then there was a book that came out that I read, and I have to go back. I can look through my notes. There was a book that came out, Miracle Morning. It's a book called Miracle Morning that I read, and it kind of outlined, hey, your greatness begins in the morning. And so from that book, it kind of gave me a framework to kind of think about, how do you start your day? How do you start your mornings?
Let me ask you a question. Thanks, Grayson. Let me ask you a question, Melvin. What do you think has been your greatest leadership lesson? Because I know that you have had a phenomenal career. Okay. You are one of those people that I don't even know how you've done it, and you're just like, how I'm so glad to know you. So if there's one thing that we haven't learned in this whole entire masterclass, okay, what's the one thing that we need to know today before you go and dominate in your field?
Trust yourself. I think that was my moment. You have to believe in you, and your abilities. I can't say that enough. In his book, The Obstacle is the Way, Ryan Holiday talks about the obstacle becoming the fuel. And so he says the obstacle is just like fuel to a fire. And so that's how you have to treat every obstacle, is that it fuels you forward. And so just as fires consume wood and everything that it touches, so you should consume every obstacle to be fuel for you to move forward. That has been my mantra is, if there is an obstacle in the way, that means I should be going that way. And the other thing that I'll tell you, and I heard TD Jakes say this, and I had to stop and think about that. I was like, wow, that's a pretty powerful principle. And it resonated with me. He says, nobody wants to rob the bag lady because the bag lady doesn't have value. The only reason anybody would want to rob you is because you have something of value. And so if people are bothering you, it's because you got something of value in you and they can see it. See, walking down the street, nobody bothering the bag lady because they don't think she got nothing. The only reason people are bothering you is because you got something. And so just remember that. And so that resonated with me. I'll tell you, because you look like me, you face a different set of challenges. You just showing up sometimes intimidates people. The fact that you're continually learning, because you can't learn something if you already think you know it. And so I tell you to be a lifelong learner. Don't, read everything, consume everything. I would tell you to, pick 2 or 3 people that you believe or share their philosophy, and don't go wide, go deep with them. Read everything that they write, study what they study, learn to read up, as I call it. And read up means read what they're reading, and read about who they're reading about, and read about who the readers that they're reading about read about. And that's what I mean by reading up. And so if I'll give an example, I might read a book by Warren Buffett, but I want to read the book that Warren Buffett read based on the guy that wrote the book. So I want to move. So Warren Buffett's got a book that he read in college. It's called The Intelligent Investor. And so that was the book by Benjamin Graham. And so that was the book that Buffett did. If I read Buffett's book, I should read Benjamin Graham's book. And so then the next person is, well, what did Benjamin Graham read? And then I want to read what Benjamin Graham read. You see where I'm going? I've learned to read up. And so to read not just the author, but then read what was the author reading and who was the author of that book. And so that helped me to expand my knowledge base. I'd offer you that reading as a leader is probably as foundational to your success as anything. And I say that because reading allows you to spend time with people that you would never be able to spend time with. And it gives you access into their brains and into their thinking. And so, as I said earlier about tour guides and travel agents, they may not necessarily be people you physically meet, but they may be authors that you read that can also help expand your knowledge base. So just like in class, so Angela, what question do you have? See, I gave you a chance to ask. Now I get to ask you what question do you have? And Tracy, I'm coming down your aisle. So just to your question, if I'm coming.
Tracy, you can go first since Tracy's ready.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Brown. I have a question as far as working in teams, I work in a not-for-profit organization that my mother founded, and I work with a team of people, and we're all adults, but I find it hard to motivate them. And I know that probably my tone and disposition may not be as inspiring sometimes. And so I wonder, why do they say they want to, be on these committees and stuff, but I can't really get them to, I have to push them to do everything. Can you think of any ways that I can motivate the teams? They might be mentors. We have like an advisory board, and they're great people, but it's like, if I don't ask, I'll never know. And so I'm trying to get to the point where we can grow, but we can only grow if we all have a little bit more inspiration, and we all want to move the needle. Because sometimes I feel it's hard for me to move 20 people.
Great point. That is a phenomenal point, Tracy. So Tracy, I want to ask the question with a question. Are you a cook?
No, sir. No, sir.
What can I do to motivate you to cook?
Oh, that's a great question. Oh, if it was vegan meals and it saved me a lot of money, I totally would.
You would cook? That would motivate you to cook?
Yes, sir. I want to be a vegan. That's one of my top goals.
Okay. The question is, everybody. The one thing I've learned is I can't motivate you as a person. I can provide the environment that's safe for you to be motivated, but I can't make you cook. I can't make you want to cook. My job is to set the vision for where we're going as the leader. And then the only other way I can inspire you is with my own work ethic to get there. Mm-hmm. That's it. And then the other thing that I will offer you is, I don't know what your reward system looks like, but you highlight the behavior that you want to see. And so, if you're a parent, you talk about not, not, you fall out on the floor, I'm gonna whip your tail. Okay, great. That's the behavior I don't want to see. So I'm not going to pamper you because you fell out on the floor, because that's not an acceptable behavior that I want to see. Now, the fact that, you sat down, you're being nice. Now you have to reward, just like with kids, you reward the behavior that you want to see. Ladies, if your man do something good, you encourage him in a way that he wants to do that again. Andrea used to want to get furniture, so she knew how to encourage him to get furniture when she needed. Yeah, I didn't forget that. She knew how to get a house full of furniture, and once he figured out that he fully furnished the house, everything she wanted from that point on. So she figured out what his button was, and so you just gotta reward the behavior that you want to see.
Yes, sir. That's a great advice. Thank you.
Yeah, and then you gotta, then you have to model. You have to also reward it, and you have to model it.
Yes, sir.
But you can't. There's no way for you to, 20 people. You're not gonna motivate everybody.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Tracy, I have a question for you. Yeah, I have a question for you, Tracy.
Yes, ma'am.
If these people were not here from the time that they knew your mother, right? Would you be working with these people? Like, if it was your choice, and forget the emotional relationship, forget because you're a person that deals with the niceness. If we're talking, like, if you didn't have a relationship with these people and it was strictly like a stranger, right? Would you still be working with these people? And you don't have to give me the answer.
Yes,
that's what you have to, because I agree with what Melvin's saying. I agree 100%. You can't motivate someone. At the same time, I also want to posit this, that they may not be the right people. They may have been the right people back then, but they may not be the right people today. And that's all I want you to consider. I'm not telling you to fire anyone. Just understand that, like, if, for example, like, my mother's a wonderful person, but I would not have her do anything technological related, okay? Because beyond her capacity. And I can't be upset with her. She has many other redeeming qualities, but I'm not going to make her do technology if that's not something she's good at, and then expect her to be excited about it. Do you understand what I mean? So yes, just because we're friends with you, or we have a and this is why I said, Just because we're friends and we know, or maybe you worked with my mom, or because of this and a history and legacy, does not mean that it's applicable today. And that's all you have to consider. So if you remove the personal relationship, you'll be able to know from a business standpoint if this is a good fit or not. That's I just want to put that out there.
Thank you both. That's great advice. Thank you.
And Tracy, let me close with this. And when you have an opening, to Andrea's point, when you do have a vacancy or an opening, make sure you hire somebody that can go in the direction that you want. Make sure you upskill to hire where you want to go. So yeah, don't hire yesterday, hire tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right, Angela, come on,
Fire,
let's go.
fire, Angela. Fire. I'm telling you, you better listen. This man, government, he understands your field. He understands what you're doing. He could talk to you about stuff. So he's not talking about. He could talk to you from the government perspective, not just from a corporate perspective.
My question is, I basically posed the question yesterday to Dr. Diaz, and that I've been placed in a leadership position. Can you hear me?
I can.
So I've been placed in a leadership position, unbeknownst to me, and now I'm in the last 24 hours, I'm just trying to process, hey, I'm in this leadership position, whereas I thought I was going to be more so, kind of in the background. So now I'm in the foreground. And so I was telling her yesterday that I have this quote unquote imposter syndrome. And I'm just like, how am I going to, get through this? What are the expectations now? Am I going to fail? Just all these doubts. And I will say yesterday, through the conversations that I had with her, she gave me some tools and guidance that helped me have a better day today with moving forward. But I wanted to get your opinion on that when you're in leadership. And I'm at the Pentagon, so it's very pretentious. It's all these ranks. I have to learn everybody's rank by tonight probably, because someone came up to me and I did not know his rank, and I just said, "Hi, Mr. Hunter," and I just felt really bad that I didn't know his rank. And so he said it was okay and it was understandable, but that made me say, hey, I need to do my homework as far as that aspect and know who all the players are. So that's one aspect of it. But the other one is just me being in this position now. It's actually in the diversity and inclusion field, which is a very, very hot topic, which has always been a hot topic, but now it's like on fire. Because of the new executive order that came out, I think on the 25th or something, with diversity, equity, and inclusion. So that's where I'm in. I'm on the side of the house with outreach and recruitment for military, Air Force, and civilian. So basically, long story short, I'm just trying to figure out my path and my journey. Dr. Diaz told me to own it and all this other stuff, but I'm 50% better. She gave me some medicine yesterday, so my cold is getting a little bit better. So I'm on my way to health and wellness, knowing my wealth. So I just wanted your opinion, since I have this guru in front of me with a wealth of knowledge. So I'm gonna let you have the floor, Mr. Mel.
So a couple of things. One, you got to fix your self-talk.
I got to what? I didn't hear that.
Your self-talk. And so you got to fix the voices in your head first. So let's start there. The Bible says that life and death is in the power of the tongue. And so what you speak into tomorrow is what you start to act out and believe in yourself.
Amen.
And so the Bible says you're fearfully and wonderfully made. And so then you need to start walking like you're fearfully and wonderfully made. You're the head and not the tail, above and not beneath, more than a conqueror. And so let's start there, because that is, when I tell you I have a morning routine, it's that. It's to get myself psyched up for the day, to know who I am and whose I am before the day gets started. That no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Okay, I'm ready to go now. I'm more than a conqueror. Meaning that when I take on stuff, I leave it. Everybody else is in second place just because I'm in the race. And as I said earlier, the thing that's bothering you right now is that there's something of value that's coming forth. You're not the bag lady. And so not being a bag lady means that, you're going to see stuff differently, but that door would not have opened for you if the creator of the universe have not given you the tools necessary to be sustained in that opportunity. That's the first thing we have to fix. We got to fix your self-talk. You have to say who you are in a positive way. You have to see yourself in a positive way. You got to start there. And if you believe you can do the job, that's the first step. Oh yeah, I can do this. And then the other thing is go in it, approach it from a learner's perspective. And what I mean by that is be open to the fact that you don't know and that you're going to be learning along the way, which is why the journaling is so important. What did I learn yesterday? What did I fail at today? Oh, okay, cool. I'm making progress here. Failure is an opportunity for learning and growth. We can't get there without failure. And failure just means that I have come to the end of my capacity for comfortable. Because comfortable doesn't help me to grow. I can lift 5 pounds all day long, but my muscle don't get no stronger. Every now and then I gotta stretch that thing out. Oh, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 40 pounds. Ooh, 50. I might need to put this down. All right, 50 is my max. You don't get to the max of who you are or your intended level of greatness by being comfortable. And so the fact that you are uncomfortable means that you are stretching beyond your normal capacity, which is good. I mean, we don't all stay in kindergarten. If I tried to send you back to kindergarten now, you'd be like, oh man, I done outgrown this, all of the struggles that I went through. And so it's going to be the same way in your leadership. Leadership is not a destination. It's going to be a journey. And when you think back to your first job in the government or the first time you got a job, if somebody tried to take you back there now, you'd be like, ooh, child, I done grown past that. I don't do that no more. I'm good. Well, consider this just another rung in your leadership ladder. And the thing that I'll tell you is there's a great book, and if you can't tell, I'm a huge reader. It's called The First 90 Days in Government. It is a staple for me. There's also a companion book, The First 90 Days in Corporate America. This book transcends whether it's in government or whether it's in corporate America, but it's a phenomenal book. It's pretty cheap, but the value you get out of it is good. And I'll just describe it a little bit. And it helps you to put together your 90-day plan for success. So for you to have a 90-day plan, you as a leader, you should have things that you want to accomplish. The one big thing that I want to know is, I go to my boss and I find out, hey, what are my top 3 priorities or things that you want me to get done this year? And once I do that,
Melvin,
yeah.
I just said these same things. That's what I'm saying. Thank you, Melvin, for saying this. Because did I not just say this, ladies? Did I not just say this today? Go ahead. Melvin, you are spitting fire. Go ahead.
And then, I asked them, okay, who are the stakeholders, the people that have equities in me accomplishing these goals? And I sit down and I talk with them and find out from them, hey, I need to get this done. What are some of your recommendations? If you were me, what would you do? And then who else can I talk to? That does 2 things. 1, gives you an opportunity to be learning. But 2, it help you build a coalition to get your goals accomplished. And then the other thing is, you got to put together a learning and reading plan. Is okay, what do I need to learn and read up on this job so that I can be successful? You talked about rank. All right, so I got to deal with all these militaries. I was a Marine, so I kind of know the Marine and the Navy structure. So now I got something that I got to manage to. Here's what I'll offer you just as a cheat sheet. If they got bars and stars, it's always sir and ma'am.
Right. Oh, okay. Yes. And I saw the stars and I said, well, I knew the difference between listed and enlisted officer. So I did know that much.
I would start with bars and stars, always sir and ma'am.
Bars.
Because then that becomes easy. If I don't know the rank, it just becomes yes, sir.
Yes.
So and so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a good one. Okay. Because I was going to give me a chart and I was going to just learn it.
Well, I mean, that's going to be helpful too. But just in the interim, just know that bars and stars are always sir and ma'am.
Right. Yeah.
And then that's just a good starting point from that. But yeah. And then the other thing that I tell you to do is to get networked. There is a great organization, the African American Federal Executive Association, FAA. See, look at your face. I know you don't know about it.
All up, blacks and government.
Because they all look like you. No, it's a great, wonderful organization, wonderful government. African American AAFEA.
EA as in Echo.
Echo Alpha Alpha Foxtrot Echo Alpha.
Okay. Okay.
And if you need to follow up later with me, I can connect you up with a mentee that I mentored with, and he went through their mentorship program, and he got a promotion out of it. So it's a great organization. It's where senior executives like myself are giving back to the African American community to help them achieve the next level of leadership.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so Andrea, I'm coming down your lane. What do you got?
Well, I was gonna say, how can they connect with you? How can they connect with you? Because I am grateful for your awesomeness, and if they're not geeking out with you, I'm geeking out with you, because I could always geek out with you.
they can connect up with me on LinkedIn. Just hit me up on LinkedIn. Melvin Brown II. I am the if you want to find the right guy, I am the acting deputy CIO at OPM.
Oh, okay.
Listen, Melvin, I am over the moon thrilled. Like, honestly, this conversation makes me miss you even more, because I don't want you to stop. I just want you to keep talking and talking, because you are so beyond smart and knowledgeable, and you can tell these women what they need to know to get, and this is what I was telling them. This is, I know people who can tell you these things and blah, blah, who have been there, seen it, and can tell you how to play the game. So I thank you, sir. And, this is what I talk about when I say that if you just open your mouth and ask, people will help you, because as women, what we think that if we ask for help, that we, that we're seen like, inferior, or that we don't know, and that we suffer from perfectionism, imposter syndrome, and we talk ourselves out of opportunities. But there are people like the Oliver Allens and the Melvin Browns of the world that will say, oh yeah, no problem, I'll help you. And you're like, what? And you're clutching your pearls, and you're like, you will? Oh my gosh, thank you so much. And they're more than thrilled to tell you anything that will help you. I mean, thank you, Melvin. I know that you have spent your time with me, and I know you have other meetings. And so, do you have any parting words before? No, listen. The fact that you scheduled me in here, ladies, you don't understand. I was like texting Mel. I was like, Melvin, don't forget about me, to make sure, because he's that busy. Okay, so this was love. I have to tell you, he came here out of love for me. So thank you so much. Thank you for that acronym too. So ladies, Mr. Brown, do you have anything before I know you hop off, or before I wrap up my session with the ladies?
So I will share this. I'm working on my second book. You were born to be great. So go be great. And the premise is that we all have an intended level of greatness. And the only people that are in our way is ourselves. The thing that I'll say to you ladies is, one of the mistakes that I made when I was in the military is I got out, probably after about 8 years. And one of the things that I reflect on was, hey, how far could I have gone? I don't know. Because I allowed myself to put a ceiling on what I could be. Mm-hmm. And I allowed others to put a ceiling on who I could be. And so today, I achieved the rank last year of senior executive in the federal government. And so the reason that's a big deal is less than 1%, less than 1/3 of 1% of the 370 federal of the 5,000 federal executives in the government are African American. Less than 1/3 of 1%. Mm-hmm. And so it was a goal I had to see how far I could go. And so the next question was, I still got a little bit before I can retire. I said, hey, what's next? Let's see how far we can go. And so I'm not putting a ceiling on what I'm doing. I'd ask you, if it's the one thing that I will tell you, is don't put a ceiling on your life. Don't let anybody put a ceiling on your life. And a ceiling is just your beliefs about your own potential and what you can accomplish. You don't know how, your job is to go as high as you can and as far as you can, so that those behind you know that it can. And so I say to you, you're born to be great. Go be great.
Melvin, thank you. Oh,
Thank
go ahead.
you.
No, Angela. Now you feeling inspired. Go ahead, Angela.
Question. Where are you from, DC?
Not originally, no.
Okay then. Okay. All right. I heard you say Seist, and I said that's a DC thing. I said, is he from DC?
No, I've been here since 1988. I'm originally from Gary, Indiana.
Okay, so okay.
Yeah, I've been here since 1988. I transferred here from Okinawa, Japan, in the Marines.
Okay. All right. So I just
ladies, don't put a ceiling on your life. Be great.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
On your promotion.
Thank you, Melvin.
Oh, and what's the name of your first book? You said this is a second.
The Drive of Your Life. I actually ready. Listen. Not only do I have a copy, I even have the pen that he had with it. I still have your pen, The Drive of Your Life. I'm telling you, Melvin, the ink ran out, but I wouldn't throw away the pen. I still got it. Don't play with me. I still have it after all these years, and this is like 10 years ago. Yeah. Like,
do we still get the pen if we buy that book now?
I don't even know if we produce those pens anymore, but I'll look around in my basement to see if I have some.
Oh, okay.
I love it. Thank you, Melvin, for dropping these gems, imparting your knowledge, and thank you for everything. And I still learn from you, and I humbly say thank you for sharing this. And I reserve the right to ask you to do my next one. So thank you so
Absolutely.
much. And I will be emailing you my link soon for my book.
Cool. And Angela, for you, please, if you met my good friend Oliver Allen.
Oh, that's my.
I used to be her boss.
But they used to be my boss for 10 years.
Yeah.
Oh,
see.
Okay,
Yeah.
I know him very, very well. Yes.
Okay. Good. All right.
I know you said people don't motivate you, but he was the pusher behind me moving up in my career. He just.
Then everything I just said to you should be old hat. You've heard this before.
Yes, I have.
Okay. All right. Okay.
But she needed to hear it from you, though. That's what it was. She needed to hear it from you.
I need to hear it again, like my mother. Didn't I just tell you that? Yeah. You know how we do. But thank you.
You're welcome, ladies. Hey, be great.
All right. Thanks, Melvin. Talk to you soon. Ladies, you have to tell me that you love that. I know you love that. I loved it. Please tell me your thoughts. Tell me that Mr. Brown made you feel good. Okay. And you know what I realized after doing this? That the people I hang around with are also people who are believers. If you've listened to the way I speak, the way he speaks, the way Oliver spoke, we know that we're being guided by a higher power. We know that we're not here of our own will. We're here for somebody else's will. So you understand me? So that's the one thing that I know. And that's probably why I resonate with Oliver and Melvin, even after all these years, because it's our faith that what keeps us, and guides us to everything. So ladies, this has been an incredible day 3 of this workshop. Okay. And tomorrow we're talking about the confidence killer. All right. We're going to talk about the confidence killer. Tomorrow we're going to have Coach Jamal, who's going to be our guest speaker, and he is going to knock your socks off. Okay. So come prepared, bring a box of tissues. Okay. Because it might be one of those emotional sessions. Okay. But he's going to help you get to things where you didn't think that you had before. So I want to say thank you. I want you to, if you're interested, and I told you about, we went through the list of intellectual wealth management, succession planning, strategic planning. These are all things that, these are the modules I have in my wealth program. So go to my website. You can go under my Leadership Academy, and you can start looking at what you can get under the wealth program, because these are things that you need to have to set you up for success in the future. So you could, as you know, I started by saying, Leadership is not about telling people what to do, right? Remember I said leadership is not about telling people what to do. And if by day 3 you don't understand that, then please let me know, because we need to have a conversation. That means I've done it wrong, okay? But I am so, ladies, any questions before we close out today? Tracy, what you got?
Oh, no, Dr. A, this was very inspirational. I was just looking at my notes. I loved in the beginning when you were talking about to work your business like you want to sell it to someone else. So that just makes me think about how when you leave a job, you want to leave things a certain way. So that definitely inspired me. And Mr. Brown's insight about people's motivating factors and also the reward system. I think what we had as a reward system may be too inconsequential. So I'm going to think of other things that I can do. So this was amazing.
Fantastic. Listen, if you were able to get what you needed out of it, then I am over the moon thrilled. I am over the moon thrilled.
Yes, ma'am.
Angela,
thank you.
I am so happy. I think Angela is trying to connect so she could go get her kids from camp. So I'll go to Grace while her stuff is still connecting. Do you have any questions or? By the way, Grace, you look amazing. I just want to tell you. Okay. Look.
Thank you. No questions.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies. I had my Success Fest recording earlier for keynote speaker.
Good. Beautiful.
So thank you. I know I missed yesterday, and unfortunately I'm traveling tomorrow, so I'm going to miss.
We have the recording.
Coach Jamal. Yes. So I'll definitely listen back to it. I'm enjoying the sessions, really enjoying it. You know, of course, I came in new and knowing that you are a power pack woman with all this information. And so I was just like, wow, I know I'm looking forward to learning a few things. And so I'm learning more than what I really paid for, honestly. What I really paid for, honestly. And I believe that even your program, the program that you have will do so much goodness for all of us who are enrolled or will enroll. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Grace. I'm so glad to hear and have you here, and thank you for the feedback. And I just, I just really appreciate your presence and your time. And again, you make me want to step up my game to look nicer. So Angela, do you have any parting words before we close out today?
It was phenomenal. I've enjoyed everything. I don't think I need to ask that question anymore, what to do. I've gotten so many nuggets, wisdom, advice, guidance to propel me into the next phase. And just like Grace Ann, she just said, I have to believe in myself, and I do. I have to own it, and I'm ready to accept the response. Like I said, I was nervous before, but the last 2 or 3 days, I've really just been encouraged to, hey, do what I have to do what I'm supposed to do.
Do what you were meant, not supposed to. I want you to say, do what you were meant to do. That's what I want you to understand. Not what you're supposed to do.
Okay.
You're doing what you are meant to do. You were put here to do this.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay. I like that even better. Meant to do. Okay.
You were meant to do this. So this is not someone saying, well, we're letting you. You were meant to do this. Okay. You are doing what you were meant to do. And once you understand that 100% completely and unapologetically, you have officially swallowed the blue pill and you're down the rabbit hole. Okay.
Okay.
You're doing what you were meant to do. But I'm telling you, I love that movie, The Matrix. And you guys are gonna be like, this woman's crazy. But I remember I was doing my hair in the bathroom before I came, and I thought to myself, when Neo was talking to Morpheus, and he's like, are you telling me that I can dodge bullets from the agent? And Morpheus looked at him and he said, when you believe in what you have to do, you won't, when you believe who you are, you won't have to. You understand that? He was like, you won't even have to dodge bullets because it's just gonna stop. Okay, do you understand? So when you believe that you're that leader, and I'm getting goosebumps, when you believe that you are that leader, you don't have to dodge bullets because you control the situation. Do you understand? Woo! Do you understand that?
Wow.
You don't have to dodge bullets anymore. You don't have to dodge bullets anymore. And that's what Mel was trying to tell you. You don't have to dodge bullets. Because when you believe, you don't have to. You're going to walk around like you believe, and you're going to be like, that's a leader. People are going to see you, Angela, and they're going to be like, that's a leader.
Wow,
that's a leader.
Awesome.
They're going to come to Tracy, same thing. Tracy's going to be like, you know what? I was only keeping you around because of XYZ, but you guys have to go.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Dr. Andrea. Don't get me in trouble.
I'm not getting it. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. I see your future. I see your future, and I'm be like, because you know what's happening, because you're still in the I don't want to hurt your feelings phase. Okay, we're gonna get out of that phase.
Right.
You're gonna get out of that phase, and you're gonna be like, you know what, this is not working out. But thank you so much for your commitment and dedication over the time, and I think that you can serve in a better position.
Yeah.
I just fired you in the nicest way, didn't I?
Yeah.
I just fired you in the nicest way.
Wow. Wow.
Thank you so much for your time.
Listening. Thank you so much. This has been amazing.
I'm so glad. Listen,
Yeah.
you love this and more, come into wealth. Okay, go on the website, start looking at the wealth, because there are different levels of wealth. You have the initial level, you have level 1, level 2, and level 3. The higher you go in the levels, you get more coaching, and you get executive coaching, emotional intelligence coaching, or a mindset coach, and then you get life coaching, depending what you do. So this is not just like, hey, you're talking to me. You have other people to talk, because these are people who are certified in their field to help you along the process and help you along the way. Okay. So you're not going to just, it's not going to be me saying, well, here, I'm an emotional intelligence person, and by the way, I'm a this. No, I'm not. I get people who are good at it. Okay. I can tell you what you need to know, but I have people on who work this program who are good at it. And I have people like Melvin as executive coaches that and that's a nice thing. All the people that I pull from my executive coaches used to be my formal faculty, people in who have these high positions in healthcare and the government, IT, this, that, the other. These people are more than willing to share their experiences with you and to tell you, hey, like how Melvin said, let me tell you how you do this. Ta-da! Okay. So this is something I'm telling you, ladies, you will not regret it. Check it out. Level 1 is executive. That's $3,000. Level 2, that's elite. That's $6,000. That's where you get executive training and emotional intelligence training. And diamond is interview only. We could talk about diamond and that investment when you're ready. And I'm telling you, if you break it down a week, even for the nominal, this is $300, a little over $300 for executive coaching, which is what you would have to pay anyway if you were doing executive coaching. You know, so trust me, the things that you get access to, because I want women to become leaders. I want women to be comfortable standing in their own right. I want women to stop apologizing for being smart, brilliant, and ready to dominate. You're here because you're supposed to. You were meant to be here. So ladies, this is where we're going to end today. Listen, tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. Okay. And we're talking about the confidence killer. You're going to meet Coach Jamal. Bring your Kleenex, bring your tissues, and get ready to do some soul searching and some groundbreaking stuff. Okay. Because he's going to get you. He's going to get you. Okay. All right, ladies, have an amazing evening. And you will receive the login information soon for tomorrow. And again, if not, you'll have the replay within 24 hours, usually probably tonight, but you'll have the replay very soon. And then you have access to this information for at least until the end of this year. I'm not removing your access anytime soon. So you can come back. I'm not charging you to access this information, because this is information that you can need. Okay. Not everything has to have a dollar amount behind it. You understand what I mean? Because your growth and development is that important to me. So I'm giving you this access as the recording to be like, here you go.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for taking this trip, and thank you for taking this journey. The ride of your life is Melvin's book. I was fortunate enough to have this many, many years ago. As you could tell, Melvin is a powerhouse, and he literally did this for his love for me, and I thank him for that. So thank you for doing
Dr.
this.
Andrea, I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go to like different organization, nonprofit and profit to do workshops or speak?
I am willing to do them. I will listen. If you're telling me I need to support women, that's where I go. You just have to tell me that there are women involved and I need to help. And I'm like, how can I do it? How can I help you? And tell me what you need and I will support you. That's how we do it. And actually my speaker sheet will be coming up soon, but this is different from like this, a speaking engagement. You know, if you're looking for training, you're looking for developing, I have a speaker feed, and then I have an organization like assessments, plans, we have a whole, there are two different ways you set your company up for success. You know, we could just talk about all the things we talked about today, and I tell you, this is the plan. It's like just the same thing Melvin said, right? The same thing I said. What's your 30, 60, 90-day plan? What's your 1, 2, 3 year, 5-year plan? Same thing Melvin said, right? How do you set it up? How do we get our departments? How do we get multiple departments on the same level? How do we get multiple departments on the same? How do we have a clear playing field where everyone's moving towards the right direction? I can help set you up for that. So those are the things that I do. And honestly, I don't know why, but like my spidey sense is always like, oh, I identify problems. I can't necessarily do it for myself. I'm not like we always have to have a blind spot, but for other people, I'm like, ding, I got you. So whatever I can do to help. And ladies, please, if you can, come tomorrow, because you will not regret making the time to speak with us tomorrow regarding the confidence killer and Coach Jamal. Plus, I also invite you to join my club, Clubhouse. It's called Women Executive Leaders on Clubhouse. You can find me at Dr. Andrea or Dr. Andrea Diaz. You'll find me. And that is where if you really want to expand your community, you really want to network with people, you really want to learn from people who genuinely want to share their information, please, let's start talking about going on Clubhouse and how that could affect your life, your business, and it could literally take you to a completely different dimension that you weren't even aware of. So anyway, with that said, it's almost 5 o'clock. Thank you for your time. Ladies, be blessed. Grace, if we don't see you tomorrow, safe travels, okay? But you can always catch the replay. And ladies, Tracy, Angela, and for the other ladies who haven't shown, but they have access to the class, we'll hopefully see you tomorrow. And please try to make Coach Jamal, okay?
Yes,
any questions
I'll be
before I
there.
go? And listen, Tracy, we're gonna get your mean bone up. Okay, we're gonna get your mean bone going.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
I'm here to help you. You're so sweet. I really just want to hug you,
I know.
but I want to be like, okay, but we need to be a little stronger than this. Like,
Yes, ma'am. Thank
but I
you
love your
much.
spirit, and I love everything about you, and I don't want you to change that. Okay, because that
Thank
beautiful
you.
spirit you have is what attracts people to you, and that's not what we're gonna change. We're just gonna tweak a few things. Okay.
Thank you,
Because
Dr.
you are
Andrea. I'm
perfect. You are
listening.
perfect the way you are. I want to tell you
Yes,
that right now. You are perfect the way you are. Okay.
Yeah.
It's the same
thank
thing with you,
you.
Angela. I'm coming. Look at me, Angela. Look. I'm coming for you,
Yes.
Angela. I'm coming for you. Look at
Okay,
me.
I'm looking. You lucky the light red. I'm looking.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay.
I know. This has been, like I said, it's been amazing. These 2-3
Yes.
days. It has. I mean, if it was any more days, I would say, hey, I got a lot in this short period of time.
Thank
And it's
you.
like
4
that's
days.
all you need is this little bit of time. You don't need like 20 hours, like where you might check out. So I was like, this is perfect for adult learning for me, anyways, because I'm like ADD. So so I appreciate it. I really do. Everybody's been great so far. So thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Ladies, have a blessed evening. Enjoy yourself. And I'm
you.
seeing the transformation already, and I feel it. Wonderful,
Okay.
wonderful, wonderful. Ladies, tell your friends, and let's change this game together. Everyone be blessed, and I see you tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Bye, ladies.
Thank
Bye.
you. Good night.
Bye.